this guy. All right, we're live. We're live, people. We have exactly 0 viewers. All right. All right.
I didn't know. Apparently, you can go live from your computer on the TikTok. Look at this. It's like being on the Rogan show. They bring you water.
I brought you water.
Thank
It
you,
wasn't
sir.
they. It was the motherfucker that pushed the car out by himself.
Well, they sounds like we got more people.
Okay. Like there's
I thought you had people for that.
a staff in here. To YouTube, am I live? Here we go. All right. It's a little bit laggy.
I don't know how it is on here. I know on the Book of Faces there's a delay.
I have the chat. The chat is open. Oh, howdy from Alaska. Oh, that's my homie Zach. What's going on, brother? How you doing? How are you doing this fine evening? I guess it's what time is it? 3 o'clock in Alaska, something like that.
Oh, you gotta mute that.
Oh, because
Turn the volume down, yeah.
there we go. I'm gonna have to maybe if I put one of my earphones in.
Earbuds?
Yeah, we can grab that. I'll be right back.
Oh. I can't see you guys. Give me a second. Can't see.
It's always gonna start
You
back. So
have to
first
write
show,
the
we're not
numbers
even,
so
we're not
people can
even
read
at
it.
7 o'clock.
No, it's in the bio. It's like it's written on the thing. Yeah, well, if you're dyslexic, you can read the damn phone number because you read it backwards. We put that phone number up for dyslexic people. Like literally, that's what it's for. But I'm gonna try and get the TikTok working on the computer, and then we won't have this problem. This is you have to download some TikTok Live Studio on the computer to get it to work.
Oh, you're looking pretty good.
Like that welding station. Oh, you're definitely way in that.
I will help you since you are handicapped. I wonder if you put it central and then back a little bit. How's that look?
You gotta scoot, turn to the. There you go. That should get us better.
All right.
We're just gonna have to sit close together.
Won't be the first time.
That won't be the last.
That was that one time in that freezing storm you talked me into spooning with you.
Well, either that or freeze.
It was very awkward. Very awkward.
Well, I'm sure it was awkward. You getting a little spoon. This here.
All right.
We might be changing it over.
Hey, the stream looks good. What's the problem? Well, we're broadcasting on 2 separate networks. This is a first. This is a world first. What you would expect from Monkey Fab. But this is the first live call-in radio show simultaneously broadcast on TikTok and YouTube. So we have both the American government and the Chinese government spying.
It
on
is
us.
really straight on YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube's
It
just
is
much,
backwards on TikTok.
much better. I'm gonna have to give the, if I'm gonna be spying on somebody, I'm going with the American government because they do a much nicer job of doing that.
The numbers backwards.
Yes. So some of the topics today. So what are you working on, Jacob? What's the haps? So this is a true story. Jacob started working here a while ago, and he lived what?
Hour and 20 minutes.
It's not exactly close, and that was when gas was what we had that that good old Biden bump that brought it up to like
$4.30 a gallon.
$4 or $5 a gallon. So, and he had a shit, what?
3/4 ton 4-wheel drive truck.
It was a 6.2 liter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the 6.2 liter. And so I talked him in, I found a CRX, a 1990, beautiful CRX, I might add, and talked him into buying that, to which you got, your gas mileage went double.
Almost triple, yeah.
Yeah. So, almost triple?
From 12 to 36.
Man, yeah, I should have given you a raise this year. So yeah, but then he went full on off the deep end and just kind of went nuts for Hondas, which is kind of funny because you're historically like a Ford Mustang kind of guy, right?
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna go pick up the third Honda. So you're broadcasting live, and I just noticed that you got tape over your camera on your computer.
That's the laptop.
Yeah.
Why do you need that? You got these cameras. Did you want to have like 3 cameras on you?
No, I'm just curious why this camera's taped up, but those cameras are okay.
Because
that phone has 3 cameras on it.
Right, because if Steve Jobs tapes his fucking laptop camera, I'm gonna tape my laptop camera. I thought we already just discussed the spine problems.
Yeah.
It's too bad you can't get the TikTok chat. It's blowing up over there.
Yeah, I can see.
What, are you trying to download TikTok on here?
No, this is the TikTok live studio.
Oh, I don't even know.
So there's something that does something on the PC for the TikTok.
So you can read the chats.
I bet you can broadcast directly from here.
Probably.
I've never tried.
Yeah. I don't have. We didn't think this out very well. I mean,
Well, it's not
probably
that we
should-
didn't think it.
The problem is this laptop. So I bought this laptop for tuning
And it's,
about 3 years ago, and so, you know, if you're gonna have a tuning computer, just don't ever look at porn on it because that's gonna screw it all up and it's never gonna work right. So it's this dedicated, no porn, tuning only kind of computer, and it was super cheap, and I didn't know why. And the why is because there's absolutely no memory on it, and it's completely full. So if it actually installs that program, I'll be shocked.
I mean, it's a Chinese program. You know it's gonna be small.
I hope so.
We're probably gonna get banned on TikTok.
Are we?
Probably.
For what? The porn thing?
Yeah.
I forgot how sensitive
Oh,
TikTok is, man.
They're super sensitive.
That's why I got off TikTok. I don't really mind the spying thing because they're all doing that, but I thought for sure, like, if I posted anything, I always got my post taken down. And I'm not really a risque poster.
Well, that's controversial. Depends on what you're saying. This is a wormhole. This is a wormhole.
Yeah.
Wormhole that we don't want to begin to get into.
So I'm working on 2 cars. I'm working on I have a 78 Phoenix that is a LS turbo swap. Pretty basic. I've been working on that thing, geez, it must have been 2017, I think I started working on it. It's been through 3 engines. This will be the 3rd transmission. And it's a lot of fun. It's a, it makes like high 600s on, I think, about 18 pounds of boost, according to the fuel, the pounds per hour guy. And I had a TH400 in there, and it was a manual valve body, but nobody ever told me that you weren't supposed to drive it like a manual. So I would downshift and just like, what do you call that, compression brake, and all, and it destroyed that. I think it rolled the sprag or destroyed the band or something on that. Whoever built it for me, I sent them pictures, and he's like, did you ever downshift? And I was like, did I ever not downshift? And he was like, that was probably the problem with that. So it's moved on to a new home, and we have a 4L80 going into that. So, and that'll be up for sale. It's really nice. It's super clean. There's no rust on it. Very well put together. It's got air conditioning, drag radials. It's got an extra spare set of street tires. So we'll get rid of that when we get it all together.
Selling the Phoenix?
Yeah, the Phoenix is definitely for sale. But everything's for sale. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. So that's for sale. And then I got a Volvo, a 93 Volvo station wagon that is just at a 5.3 with a Matt's Sloppy Mechanics, the Sloppy Best Cam, and that's it. I have some heads, supported heads on it, and it does about 320 at the wheels through a 4L60E. And this is my favorite car. It's a lot of fun, and I don't think I'll be selling it anytime soon.
That's a nice hat. You damn right it is. I need to find this phone number real quick.
So remember, guys, if you want to call in and complain or just chat, the number is right now. It is also in the description on the YouTube, which seems to be working better than the TikTok, although it looks like we got more engagement on the TikTok. Or have we already been kicked off?
No, we got like 32 viewers.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we're doing well on there. We have, I don't think we have any viewers on the YouTube. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was at Extreme Close-Up. I can't see and I can't get on, so we're just gonna have to do it that way so I can actually read what the hell y'all are saying.
Yeah, I can't read any of
Mike
that.
can't read any of it, but
Even if I had glasses, if I had binoculars, I could not see that from there.
we'll make it work.
Oh, I got Calvin on here, my buddy. So, if you guys don't know, Calvin, he goes by Nivlac57, which is Calvin spelled backwards in 57. I think because he likes 57s.
57 Chevys or
Yes.
57 Fords?
57 Chevys. Is there a 57 Ford?
Yeah, there's 57 Fords.
I'm shocked. I didn't. No one ever told me that.
Yeah, I mean they don't go by that.
Okay. And yeah, so they put together a Volvo, like a 50s Volvo. It almost looked like a Volkswagen Bug, but with like a Lincoln front nose on it. And unfortunately, his dad went through the traps in a 9.1, which was moving, and rolled it. And luckily, it's weird. I think that was like one of the first times I've ever seen someone I know or a friend of mine wreck, and it's wildly different when you know the person that's wrecking. So yeah, it's good to see. I just checked on his dad yesterday or the day before, Calvin, and he told me he's doing well and itching to get back to work, or he's even already back to work. So good to see that. That was scary. So the question is, if we live in the area and make a purchase, can we come and get it? And the
No.
answer, so the answer is, so you guys see where we work at, right? This is how things go down. And I live in an HOA, so I have a shop in the back of my HOA. We run everything out of my house in the shop, and my neighbor thinks that I sell meth. So to avoid that hassle, we just we don't do any pickups. We do all. And if you are in the Houston area, there's a couple things. So one thing is, whenever you buy from Monkey Fab, you're gonna only pay the shipping that you're actually charged. So no matter what they charge you for shipping, you're gonna get refunded the difference. Because my wife is like 100% on that. She always complains about shipping costs, and she makes sure that if anybody gives us more money for shipping, that she refunds it. So don't worry about the shipping price. You're only gonna pay what the actual shipping cost is. And then the other thing is, you can't show up here because I'll get evicted, and it's not worth it, because this is how we feed the
I don't
family.
think they evict you though. I think they just fine you.
No, I
They
think
do
they
it in
actually
your own
can.
house.
Yeah, well, they'll start with the fines, and then they go with just seizing your home. That's the way they do it here. So
They
yeah,
buy you out.
they're
Like,
picking up here.
so if you maybe you need to get a second mortgage so they don't want it. That way when they seize it, you just owe substantially more than what it's worth.
Right.
And
Yeah,
then
it's
they're
like property tax.
And then they're like, no, we don't want that one.
It's like property tax. You buy your house in 1960, and then when you're a little old lady and can't afford your property taxes, they take it from you and put you on the street. That's how it works. So, yeah, I can imagine, Calvin. I mean, it was tough for me watching that happen, and I can't imagine like watching someone you love. I mean, and intimately know like that. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. It actually made me rethink all of my racing, to be quite honest with you. I don't think people realize how fast. I don't know if it was Calvin that said it or somebody said this, but they were talking about I think it was Calvin said it in one of his videos. Their whole family's engineers. So they were talking about the amount of energy. People don't think in energy, but if you think about that, like the amount of energy that it takes to move a car from 0 to 140 miles an hour in 9 seconds, and then dissipating that energy, which is that goes somewhere, right? So that's a crazy thing to think about. And it is, I was talking to, I think, Matt Happel yesterday about this, that I think he was saying something like the 8s is the new 10s, something like this. And we were chatting about, like, people don't really realize how dangerous some of this stuff can be, which I get it. Just, be sure you're out there doing the right thing and taking care of your car and thinking about what happens if water or oil, gets out. At least take all the precautions. That's what the crazy young kids do, right?
No, we don't have them in aluminum.
What are you doing?
I'm not doing anything.
I'm carrying this whole show, man.
You
should
are.
say something, man, right?
No, Tyler, we don't have them in aluminum, man.
What's the question?
The 78, 75 flanges, V-man flanges.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know anybody would really want that. I thought about the big boy, because usually, like, the T6s are, you're gonna be your turbos for the classes for time where every ounce counts, so I just didn't make that. And it caught, to make one of those purchases, when we make one of these flanges and send it to get made, we have to buy a few hundred at a time to make it so that it's affordable for you guys. And a lot of times those odd things like aluminum will put me in, like titanium. So I have thousands of dollars of titanium that I thought, hey, the guys will definitely be all about this titanium. And apparently you guys are not about titanium whatsoever. So,
But the people that buy it, they buy it repeatedly.
yeah.
It's just, I don't know that we cater to that high-end clientele.
Yeah, I don't even, like my thought was make it affordable, so I took the markup out of it. I mean, you guys see the overhead here, right? So I'll just suck the overhead right out of, or suck the margins out of it and sell it for cheap, and hope that you guys start playing with it. So maybe think about playing with a titanium. But no, we don't have those in aluminum. If that's a thing and people start letting me know we need those in aluminum, we'll be happy to get those guys made. Yeah, so Calvin, who is the electronics nerd, said that 60 versus 150 miles an hour is 6.25 times the energy. That's crazy. So, huh?
6.25 times?
The energy.
Calvin, why don't you call the phone number?
Over 600%.
Because you sound like someone whose brain needs to be picked.
Yeah, he is a smart guy. I tried to get Calvin, I told Calvin, because I'm getting into this wiring stuff, because Jacob does wiring.
Do titanium, Tyler. Just quit fucking around with titanium.
So Jacob does wiring, and he kind of got me into. I was terrified of wiring before. I would just get the Holley harness and just never touch it. Just plug it in. Which you all know the Holley harnesses don't fit very well. So anyway, my point being that I was trying to make videos to help you guys out with a little bit of stuff. It's like that Kruger-Dunning curve, where you know a little bit, and you think you're a freaking expert. But I realize, at least I'm old enough to realize that's not the case. But I was hoping that Calvin would make a video going over like basic amps, how to choose the correct wire size, how to choose the correct relay for the piece being powered. I think that's something that I know you're already doing for how to build a turbo kit, what turbo to pick, and stuff like that. And I thought that would be very
We
interesting.
really need a chart for like amperage, because I don't think
You can
people-
find charts, but
I know,
I
but
think there's more to it than that.
current amps, because I don't think people realize that you don't need to run 12 gauge to everything.
You know?
No. No, I don't think people.
See, that's the problem, right? Is people have bibs. It's the reason I sell 60 millimeter wastegates. Is people think, well, 60 millimeter must be better than 44 millimeter.
I'm sure. How do you let a little bit out of 60 millimeter? Like, how does that work? How do you just let a little bit out?
It's like those dudes.
127 millimeter throttle bodies?
It's like those dudes. Yeah, exactly. It's like those dudes that have those trash can throttle bodies. They it's not even treatable.
Yeah.
because 10% is 100%. There is no difference in that.
Well, we'll keep selling it, man, as long as you keep buying it. I appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. All right, so I was thinking about talking about drag and drives and YouTubers because I saw a lot of feedback on Facebook. I'll put it that way about people's opinion of YouTubers and drag and drive events and the appropriate amount of coverage for the people doing the drag and drives. And I basically saw like 2 or 3 different things. Like one is just people bitching, which is always ugly. The other one was like people saying, you know, hey, there was people that won these drag and drives. They didn't get the media that, you know, these YouTubers got, and that's not really fair. And the last one was basically, you know, I do the drag and drive for me.
Well, you gotta think like those, so the YouTube people, they put in work on a different level.
Mm-hmm.
So the people that, you know, the hobbyists such as ourselves who put in work in the garage to do it. The YouTube guys, they put in work to get the notoriety that they got through that venture. So they both are putting in work. I mean, I don't know that they really care that the car that they paid for performed, you know what I mean? Because how many of those YouTube guys built their cars? Like literally were in the garage building them.
Yeah, I think the most complaints was about Alex Taylor, the female. You know who, right? Jacob doesn't watch any YouTube videos.
I'm
has
busy,
anything.
man. I leave here and I go to work somewhere else.
He does work like a crackhead, I'll give him that. So I think most of the controversy was around Alex Taylor, which I don't know any of these people. I don't know any of these people. I've never done a
I
drag
heard
drive.
she's hot. You told me she's hot.
No, I didn't. Prove it, motherfucker. Yeah, she's a fairly attractive young lady. I mean, she's a young lady. I'm an old man. But what's neat about her is like her and her dad have done this thing. And have been doing this thing, I think, since she was like 16. But any of that was kind of the stink, I guess, was that she won or something.
So you had a bunch of dudes mad because a chick beat them.
It seems that way, right?
Yeah, that
Like,
sounds about normal.
you know, guys do the, you know, monkey thing, ooh, 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 and it's like, you know, but I've also heard, you know, I had people, you know, everybody will complain about anybody. The thought being is that the YouTubers brought the audience, is how I see it. So I think it's
Right.
it's a falsely constructed argument that the media wasn't focused on us. There wouldn't be a media if it wasn't for the YouTubers. Because I can remember back to Drive and Drags when there was just Hot Rod magazine, right? There was no coverage of those whatsoever. And there was a few people that did them. They were in the club, they were in the know. And the people that won, well, the people that cared about it knew who won. And I think that still holds true, that the people that care about these things are the people that know who won, regardless of what the video coverage is.
Taylor said it's not racing cars, it's racing wallets.
Yeah, and no, it totally can be. I think that's a fair assessment. If, you know, those rules, people with more money can push up on those. I just don't, I want to do a drag and drive, but I'm going to take the Volvo, which is capable of 13s, maybe 12s on a good day with a strong tailwind. Because I don't want to have any pretense of trying, I'm not a competitive guy. I'm competitive, but not with cars and stuff like that. I just want to go meet the people and hang out. It seems like a good time.
I haven't been to the track in probably close to 2 years. It's I don't know, the track, you know how it is here. You got tons and tons of people up on the starting line. They won't move out of the way. You're trying to do a burnout. People were all in the way. Like, can't tell you how many times in the blue car I'd sit on the brake and just shoot flames because get people out of the way.
And this is on a track?
Yeah. Yeah, HMP, you've never seen videos. You have a hard time going from the staging lanes to the starting line. Like to the water box, there'll be people just you just gotta go.
Insane. That's insane.
Yeah, you just gotta go.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah, it is. And that's where I like, it wasn't like that growing up. When I was a kid,
Yeah, no.
it was very strict. Like you stayed back.
I raced in Hawaii and I raced in North Carolina, and that was like a while ago, and it was just like you would expect from a track. You didn't charge your phone?
I tried, man. See the
That's
cord on the
hilarious.
ground right
This
there?
guy, man, it's tough going through life being an ogre, being a giant.
It says I got like 20%. That should be good.
So
Seems like.
yeah, I'd love to do a drag and drive, but it seems to me like I say, the YouTubers brought in the video. They there wouldn't be media coverage without those guys. There was no media coverage before those guys, basically. And the cool thing about them is they brought in quite a few people into the sport. The same goes with the Street Outlaws.
Yeah, that was a big thing, and those guys were doing it. I remember them coming to Houston back in the late '90s.
I see dudes just hating on these motherfuckers.
Well, why? Because they're
Just-
jealous. That's
it's-
envious.
it
That's the
seems that
only
it's-
reason.
It really seems, and I can also get like the wallet part, you know, because I was the broke guy. Like I was in the military for 25 years. I never had an extra dollar to my name, and I can see like that. But you have to be honest with yourself. If that's where you're at, then you just know that that's not. You know, I'm not gonna go in the ring and try to fight Roy Jones or somebody.
But you know how many people? You know how many people with far less money have drugged the ass of people with far more money? Like, there's those guys that.
And who doesn't love to see that shit?
Yeah, and there's guys that put in the work. Like, there's guys that are out at the track or out on the street testing several times a week, and they got the data. They
Yeah.
can go somewhere and they can throw a tune in and get A to B. And then there's guys that have a bunch of money that don't know how to do anything. There's a have you ever heard of
Called
Viper Alley?
Checkbook engineering.
Yeah, Viper Alley is a website where it's all Vipers, and there's
Oh,
a
that's
lot of
great.
like Hennessy Vipers,
That's
and there's
great.
some guy in California that
Yes.
Hefner Vipers or
Right.
something. And then I remember a dude buying a Hennessy twin turbo Viper, lived in Dallas. Before he even got on 45 North, he wadded it up and put it in the wall.
There's so many Vipers that just went right. They went out to the quarter mile and just went right to the
Yeah,
wall.
I can write you a check,
I watched all.
but you
I
can't
watched.
teach me
I
to
watched
drive.
at least two in real life. That was what Vipers did. Is they just went to walls.
Well, you got a car that probably 75% of people out there have no business driving anywhere near
Yes,
its limits.
yes. It's just like the cars today. Like you can go out right now and buy a 600-700 horsepower car if you got 100 grand.
Oh, I've seen Hellcats wadded up. I've seen
Yes.
multiple Hellcats. Just
And there's parents out there buying their children these things.
well, I mean, they buy them that, and yeah, I can't even go on that. What- How are you ruining your kid by buying them a $100,000 car at 16, 17 years old?
I don't know. I don't have any kids. I'm not sure how it works. I don't know how it works.
I would hate to set that bar for my child at that age. What do you have to look forward to after that?
So I got, I'm sorry with the, I got Archer representing Vietnam. Shout out to Vietnam. I got my 82nd Airborne flag up there. You guys probably can't see it. No, you can't. But did some time in the 82nd and the 18th Airborne Corps, jumping out of planes. That was me in another lifetime. A lot of fun. And then I got Burning Rubber 60. Says, I think Cletus definitely has had an impact making drag racing cool again. So I'm a huge Cletus fan. Like I don't miss a video.
He doesn't, because he tells me about all of them.
Ah! I just lost my live feed. Hold on. Okay, we're back. Cancel. So, Cletus puts in work, bro. Like you guys, I don't care if people hate that. That's cool, but that motherfucker put in work. He started with a C5 Corvette, cut it up, put a roll cage on it.
that car, and that's
It's a
what-
manual, right?
Yep.
It was IRS until this year. So he did all that crap with, and I think it weighed in at like over 3,000.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't really all that light.
No,
And it certainly wasn't aerodynamic.
No.
Yeah, so I mean, now he's got a crew, and he's actually got a race car.
A racetrack.
He got a race car.
Let's not forget he has his
I mean,
own
that's a
racetrack.
beautiful thing. Like that guy, That's amazing. That's a true American story where I come from. You know, a kid that just loved cars. He started hanging out with Kyle, doing shit for 1320, and then he just hustled his own thing.
I heard he wouldn't even tell his parents that he quit his job for the longest.
Well, no, it wasn't his job. The dude was going to law school.
Yeah, he dropped out though, didn't he?
I don't know. I know he dropped out, like, but he was like in year like 2 or 3. It wasn't like, I mean, that's 6 years into college, bro. So I mean,
But when you get them checks from YouTube and sponsors and
I've done
endorsements,
it too.
like
That's what he
you
said.
know how many
Yeah.
clients that have to see for this same money?
Yes.
Who's that other guy?
Not only that, but he doesn't have to rob people for a living, which is a great thing.
The Beast, I think, the YouTube channel. You probably don't know about it because you don't have
No,
kids.
no.
So it's kids, and they offered him $1 billion, and he told them no
$1 billion for what?
for his YouTube channel.
Oh, they're selling it.
Yeah. And no, somebody tried to buy it, and they told him no. They're like, no, because in 3 to 5 years, I'm gonna make that.
Yeah.
So he's like, I mean, that's phenomenal. Like,
Yeah.
it just lets you know how the change in society has come. You got, you know, Cletus, you got these gamers, you got, you know, just tons of people that are being successful doing things that they love, and it's awesome.
Yeah. And that was the other topic. So we're like halfway into this now. We're gonna close up at 8. No one's called in. Like someone has to be the brave soul to call in. This is the first call in YouTube simulcast TikTok. No, but I figured someone would call him just like.
Do you know
try to
how
say
many times
something.
I had to remind him to
Dude,
get a
get
phone
us-
for this?
Yeah, I had to go out and get a phone, guys. I did this for you. Anyway, so yeah, the other thing was making money, like how to make money. I think that's because we talk about money all the time. We're friends, and we work together, which is kind of it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's fun. And we don't work too terribly hard. I mean,
And our significant, well, I don't know about his, but mine tells me I don't really work. Like, she's like, you just hang out with Mike all day.
I act like I really ham it up, so like it makes I gotta
You go in the house.
Yeah, I put oil on my face and some sweat beads, and I'll go in and be like, "Woo, baby, I'm working so hard." But yeah, it's not the worst job. You know what? If you ever burnt human feces in a bucket for a living, in the middle of a hot ass desert, then your bar's pretty low for what's
So
easy.
y'all don't get to see this, but so Mike's wife, she takes phenomenal care of us. But when she comes out here, she like just peeks her head in. She's just like this is a separate domain.
Yes.
It's like
Yes,
if
we
I
have
come,
rules.
I would be surprised if she doesn't knock. I can't hear very
She
good.
does. Yeah.
So it's yeah. So that's how he can truck it. He knows if he hears a knock, I better jump up and get busy.
Well, that makes a happy marriage, you know, when your your wife has her things or her space, and you got your space, and you know you have your common ground where you go to hang out. That works pretty good. She's got the kitchen and the garden. I don't mess with any of that stuff unless I try to go. I'll starve before I go in there and eat food.
Well, she doesn't she won't let me wash any dishes.
Yeah, I don't.
Like,
I'm
she's
not
like,
allowed.
no, Jacob. Just
I was washing dishes, and I was told that I don't wash them good enough.
I drink out of one cup. I have the same. It's the biggest cup, and I drink out of that cup.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, right here.
So anyway, back to making money. So the problem is this. This is how I can see the problem, ladies and gentlemen, is that you go to work, you know, you grow up, you get a job, you're told you get out of the house, go get a job, and you do so. However you do that, maybe you go to college, get a career. Maybe, you know, like me, you're just a big dummy. You drop out of high school, join the military. Maybe you're a first responder, you're a nurse, you know, whatever it is. They always start you low, and they scale it. And then what happens is you fall into a routine of just having enough, right? Like, so no matter what it is, you always have just enough because you're self-scaling this as you go along. I started the military. I think my first paycheck was $600 for the first month, and then they maybe raised it up to like $800. So whatever that is, a year. You also get like some allowances for food and for housing, depending on certain things. So, you know, not a lot. Let's pretend I made $15,000 my first year. 25 years later, I think I was making 65, 70 with the like allowances and things.
So we're on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
You went
Jacob
into the
went
military.
completely opposite.
I went offshore. So when he got out of the military, 25 years after.
Yeah.
I started offshore making what he ended at. And then as I got older, I made less and less and less money. And
I paid him the least amount of money he's ever made in his life.
and then he went up. So it was a big adjustment for me, and I think that's helped me survive and make it by scaling back, by not spending everything and not trying to live outside of my means. And Mike, he's a miser. Like, we put the ACs in here because it went out. It's the only reason it got new ACs, because the old ones quit working. And all of the extra stuff that came with the AC units, I was like, hey Mike, you wanna throw this away? He's like, what's wrong with it? It's still good. We can use this stuff for something.
Right, like I got the clay. I pulled the clay out of there. They had those putty. And I was like, we can use this for checking valve clearance. But that's, you know, my mom grew up. Her dad was he was a depression kid, you know. And if you're old enough to understand that, like, the depression was real. If you ever had a chance, go back and read Grapes of Wrath. We'll listen to it on the audiobook by Steinbeck. And you'll never understand it. You'll be shocked. You never know that America was that bad, that we had people starving to death in the streets and people walking by and turning their heads up while people starved. So that really happened, and that, you know, that trickled down. But anyway, the point being, when did I break free? So, like, you're on this track of life, and you're doing the basic male monkey things where you're just trying to impress people, buying shit you don't need. Trying to impress people you don't know and don't even like, right? And that's a super easy trap to fall into. The divergent point for me was when I started buying tools. Like, I stopped buying cars to try to impress people, and I bought a TIG welding machine. I bought a plasma cutter, bought a lift, and with those tools I could make money. You know, one of the deals is in life is how you're utilizing your time. Generally speaking, you'll have 8 hours a day you have to work, maybe more. You know, there's sometimes in the military you work a lot of hours. There's sometimes it wasn't too bad, but you're working those 8 hours. You got, you know, an hour in, an hour back, and usually by the time you're done, you're so drained. Usually, even thinking jobs, if you have a desk job where you're just sitting on a computer but you're thinking all day, that can be exhausting, as well as, you know, a job where you're physically just, you know, shoveling dirt or whatever else. But that's what
it says. That number goes straight to voicemail. They're trying to call.
Oh, you guys are trying to call and it goes straight to voicemail? What the hell?
You got it on airplane mode or something? Or Wi-Fi calling is on.
Is
not
it?
on.
How do I do this? You guys are seeing the boomer coming out. Airplane mode's off. The cellular, maybe I gotta turn the cellular on. Green roaming, no. That's fine.
Wi-Fi calling. Right there.
Oh, that is.
Sorry, guys.
I'm sorry, guys. I told you it was the first time. So the phone should be working now. I apologize. I didn't know. I'm on the Wi-Fi out here. We have the NASA space ceiling going on.
So Burning Rubber, everything we sell that's fabricated is made right here. Everything, all of it. The exhaust rings, the turbo flanges, the splayed mains. There's a room right on the other side of this wall. That's the fab room. The saw's in there, the welder, all the material and pipes. Then just to our right is the plasma table where all the exhaust rings are cut and engraved. And then you can probably see the polishing wheel behind us. That's Mike's favorite thing in this whole shop. He likes.
That is the most dangerous piece of equipment in this.
Sometimes
entire
I'll
place.
catch him polishing stuff just for the fun of it, you know, sharpening and honing up on his skills.
The only scars on my face are from fights and that polisher.
You can't see the garage door, but he's got insulation foam on it, and there's a few places where it's cut, perfectly cut, and that's typically something's wrong from the polisher. Doesn't happen much, but it does happen. So Wi-Fi's calling is enabled on the phone. You should be able to call. We don't get service in here, so it's all on Wi-Fi. You should be able to get through without voicemail. Yeah, see, he knows Mr. Beast. He knows.
Yep.
Grapes is one of my favorites. Just finished. Is that a book? Grapes?
I'm sorry.
Grapes, is that a book?
Grapes of Wrath. Yeah, that is the book, Grapes of Wrath. It is
Okay.
amazing. Yeah, you should definitely, if you get a chance, check that out. It changed my whole percent. Like, I knew my grandpa, and he would tell me all these stories about, digging ditches. He'd be like, son, I would dig a ditch. I'd dig a ditch until I'd fall over, and you had to because there was 15 people on the side waiting to take your job. And it just didn't really dawn on me until I really read that book and understood, like, wow, conditions were brutal. So, yeah, go back and learn about the Great Depression.
Dude, my
it's something
great
else.
grandmother canned stuff.
Yeah.
like, all the way up until she died.
Yeah,
I
because
think it was just a habit. Like
Yeah.
she just couldn't
my
break
mom
out
did
of
that.
that.
My mom would just hide food.
So what years were the Great Depression?
It was basically the 30s
through the 50s, right?
all the way till the end of World War II, basically. Yeah. So, and it was basically the whole time. Not LBJ. Oh my God. Roosevelt. FDR. It was basically his whole tenure.
Yeah.
They just made horrible policies and just kept making things worse. The best way to get out of a recession is to increase interest rates and let bad businesses fail. And
Wow,
bad
that's
banks.
weird.
It's crazy. I know
Is
it
that-
sounds crazy.
What
It seems so simple,
Are they
doesn't it?
raising interest rates now?
Yeah, like 0.7%.
So Cameron's asked, do we sell miscuts and scratch and dents? So if we mess something up, it's really bad because as you probably know, if you've been on our site, everything is as cheap as possible. So Mike doesn't mess up a whole lot. Normally when he does, I can hear him. Like I know.
Speaking in tongues.
I know when there's a mistake made. But to be honest, man, there's not a whole lot of.
We have some like T6, we have a bunch of T6 exhaust flanges for the Mormons, the big old T6 Marmon flanges. They got shipped and a lot of them just got dinged in shipping, so I can make a deal on some of that stuff. And usually if I forget to turn the back purge on, if I'm welding stainless, stuff like that, I'll just put it on sloppy. I'll just put it up on sloppy classifieds and be like, hey, somebody give me 25, whatever scrap metal price is. But I try not to mess up. That's that's the best way to make sure you stay in business.
Well, Mike hasn't yelled at me in a while, but the cool thing is he's so hard on himself when, like, I can hear when he messes up, and he's very hard on himself. So when someone's hard on themselves, are harder on themselves than they are on you, and then when they get upset with you, it's kind of like, well, at least he's not in there beating his head against the wall because he made a mistake. But it's good to keep people in check, and sometimes people need a foot in their butt. Mike's pretty motivated, and everything I do, I pretty much do from the house, with the exception of filling orders.
Yeah, I pretty much hated my whole time in the Army, but the one thing it taught me was like kind of being a perfectionist. There was like 0 fail allowed, and it's not a good mindset to necessarily be in, but it's good for if you're running a business.
So Vernon Rubber asked, do you have any formal fabrication training, or do you
Oh,
self-taught?
No.
So tell them how it started.
Yeah, so back to the story about how to make money. What you do with your extra time is what you do. I mean, that's how you get out of these cuffs. That's how you get out of your shitty job. I started it when I was a first sergeant in the Army, which is a pretty busy job. But what I would sell these exhaust trim rings. I'm sure you guys know what those are. And yeah, I'd come home from work, and then I would make exhaust rings or collectors till like midnight. And put them all in boxes. The wife would drop them off at the post office, and I'd go to work in the morning, get off work, and then weld and make exhaust rings all night. And I realized, like, hey, we were broke. That's my 3rd marriage after, I started all over again basically at 40 with 0. And the only thing, I had a credit card, I put my TIG machine on it. I already had my plasma cutters, my plasma table. And those things, I realized with Facebook, utilizing like social media, that I could, use that as a way to reach out to people that had a need for these things or found them to be valuable. And I could use my spare time to fulfill those needs.
That's what I did. That's when I was offshore. That's how I found the V-Bands. Is my spare time. Like what else can I do? You can only waste so much time before I start feeling lazy and like Like I'm wasting my time.
Yeah, I would come home, I'd be exhausted, and then I'd watch like TV. which was-
Mindless.
Yeah, it's
Accomplishing nothing.
and get drunk, right? That's how I was a complete alcoholic. So yeah, we started working on stuff, and then and then it was like we literally would have a couple hundred, maybe $300 left a month because the wife wasn't working. She's an immigrant, so she came over, and whatever I made had to pay for our house, the cars, the insurance, all that stuff. We had only a few $100 left over a month. And then after doing this stuff, I was like, oh, I have 500 extra bucks every month. And then
That's a car payment back then.
It was a car.
A nice car payment back
It was
then.
metal. I could buy metal to make more things with. I could buy tubes. I started, I got excited about what I was doing. I started designing my own stuff because I've always enjoyed doing that. And that helped pay for these, like, the first time I made a set of collectors, I found a guy that was about 300 miles away from me in Kansas City. I was stationed in Missouri, and I took those credit card checks. Those know the ones they send you. I got a brand new credit card that had, I think, $6,000 credit limit, and I literally maxed that out and just wrote this guy a check and handed it to him, and he cut me $6,000 worth of stainless steel flanges. And I remember loading them in my truck and just thinking, like, wow, I sure hope somebody needs this.
It's a whole, I know, so, J. Diddy's asking opinion of a titanium MIG welder from Harbor Freight for hobby welding or save money for a better rig.
If you're just doing MIG welding, those are pretty good. Like any machine you can buy nowadays, for the most part, is going to be pretty good. If you're getting into MIG welding, I would say get the machine with the shielding gas, so that you're not having to use flux core, just because it's kind of hard to learn flux core. And I think for the money, it's hard to beat that Harbor Freight machine. I have bought 2 of their TIG machines, and I got it with a warranty. Actually, I got one, bought it with a warranty, did a YouTube video for people, and then sold it to a friend, but they discontinued that model. I think they got sued by Lincoln. So I took that model back in. 2 years later, it was still under warranty because I bought the extended warranty, and I said, hey, this machine, I've had it for 2 years, I bought it under warranty, and you don't have the replacement. And they said, well, we have the same machine, it was like a new design. They're like, you can have that as long as you pay another $200 for the warranty. So basically I got a brand new machine that I sold to a friend, and it only cost a couple $100. So it's kind of nice with Harbor Freight that they have that warranty.
They love the warranty sales too.
Yeah, and I think that I've never had trouble with those warranties. So it's nice if you're making your money based off of a machine. If that machine goes down and you have to replace it so you can do your job, it's nice to have that just right local. Whereas that's why I bought the machine. I have an HTP welder, and back in the day, it was either HTP, Miller, or Lincoln were the machines to get. But the HTP would work with you. If something happened to the machine, you could work with them on the phone, and they would talk you through what you needed to do to fix it, and send you the parts, or you can buy the parts and they mail them to you. Whereas Lincoln and Miller both was like drop it off at your local welder
service shop.
Yeah, and I don't know if you guys have ever met like people at your local service shop. They don't seem to be all that crafty to me. So I'm much happier
Still
working
going to
on my own
voicemail. You
stuff.
sure you got the right number?
So the number is 936-548-6414. And if I had a phone that wasn't broadcasting, I would try
Call
to call
it
it.
to make sure.
If it's not working, I apologize, guys. Next time we do this, I promise that we will run some better checks.
And then back onto the making money thing. When you work for yourself, you're solely dependent on yourself. So if you put in the work, it pays dividends directly to you, as opposed to if you don't,
Yeah.
and you screw around, then you screw around and you don't get money. So it's really cool to see the hard work and the efforts. Somebody's calling.
We have our first official caller. Hello, Calvin.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going well, sir.
You had to put a 1 in front of it.
A 1. Yeah, come on, guys. You damn millennials don't know how to work a phone. There's. Did your dad have to tell you that?
No, he's not around right now.
Oh, now it's blowing up.
Now we got Cameron calling. Hang on, Cameron. We'll get to you. So how's Dad doing? How's Andrew doing? I know I talked to you yesterday, but for everybody else.
He's doing all right. I mean, he went back to work this week, and he's just taking it slow and just slowly recovering. I'd say he's about 60%. He's doing a lot of the stuff that he used to do, but like kneeling down next to the car to look at something, that takes him a little bit of time, and you can tell he's still in a lot of pain, and the bruises are still healing up. So
Yeah, when I called you guys, I know the phone was cutting in and out, but what I was saying to you was like in your video, you're reading the list of his injuries, and every injury I just kept me wince a little bit more, like ow, ow.
Yep.
You're like
Well,
the
he went
ribs.
unconscious I think he said on the third roll he went unconscious. So
Oh.
his arms and everything was just flying around, and just beating themselves against the cage, and that's definitely not comfortable.
I thought it was you, because I didn't know you were rolling. I didn't know you had the wagon. I thought you were in there.
Yeah,
And,
my
I'm not
dad's-
gonna lie. When I found out your dad, I was like, holy shit! Like I didn't have as much empathy for you as I had your dad. I was like, he's a young man. He'll be all right. And then I was like, Andrew, man, he's my age. Golly.
Yeah, they were announcing, on the live stream that it was me, and
Oh,
so a lot
okay.
of people thought it was me.
Oh, okay.
But it's he said a couple times he's glad that it was him in the car and not me.
Yeah, I get that. That's a
It's
good
just-
that's a good fucking parent right there, man.
Yeah, well, it's I'm a little bit taller than him, so
Yeah.
I would have been a little closer to the cage, and you could see witness marks in his helmet where his helmet hit the top of the fun car cage.
But what we really meant was he's lived his life, and
Oh, yeah.
and he loves you, and that's a
Yep.
beautiful thing. Yeah.
Well, I've said it a couple times. I'd happily give away all the work we put into the car to have my dad okay. So the feeling's mutual.
Yeah, you guys have had a rough go of it here in the last maybe 6 months, year.
Sloppy mechanics is going down.
Yeah, I mean it's
Oh, hey, Matt.
transmissions, and now the car. It's we'll figure out how to make it fun, and it's we've already talked about a couple things we want to start doing a little differently, and it's one of the things I really want to do is try and scale back a little bit on the horsepower stuff, just because I'm tired of breaking stuff. It's
Yeah,
I want to have fun.
Yeah, I'd honestly say like if I was to do drag racing, I have zero interest in quarter mile. I just think it's just too much.
Yeah, I'm too into the drag and drive stuff. I love that stuff. I've wanted to do it since I was 16, and it just that pretty much is only in quarter mile format. So
You could have raced Devin.
he would have kicked my butt.
Old boy was moving.
Yeah, I didn't get to see him make any passes, but every time we come up to the stage and race, it seemed like they were announcing his time, and I'm like, dang, like he's going as fast in the quarter as we are, or in the eighth as we are in the quarter.
Yeah, he was rolling the traps in the quarter, I think in sevens, and that was letting out. I was like, wow. On a 235.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
incredible.
that you wanna hang your tile high for everybody to see. That's one way to do it.
For sure.
It says you understand everything about what you're doing.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's so multi-dimensional. That's why I love cars. I love the mechanical aspect of it. It's so multi-dimensional. You have to understand so much.
Yeah, that's why I love drag racing so much. It's you don't see NASCAR where it's the same car with a Toyota badge or a Chevy badge, but otherwise it's the same car. I love drag racing because you see dragsters and pro mods and pro stock cars and some guy swapped a V8 into a Volkswagen Bug and.
Can you guys on the YouTubes hear Calvin is what I'm wondering, or if we have to come up with a better speaker solution for the next thing. So if you guys are listening, if you guys can just type in there like, get a better speaker mic, or hey, we can hear him.
Yeah, you might be able to route it into the computer with some sort of like headphone type apparatus.
Yeah, Mike did mention you're the smart guy.
I know. So while I'm giving out free advice, everybody, I'll tell you the one thing that helped me the most is something my mom told me, and that was just surround yourself with people that are smarter and better than you. That's always worked well for me.
Neither one of us were smart enough to do that. That's why we stick to each other.
I keep Jacob around because he's a fucking giant. No one messes with me around with 7 foot tall Jacob.
And I keep him around in case I drop something.
Yeah, I can get things off the small shelf, and I'm good at pushing. I have a lot of torque.
Yeah.
Jacob not so much. He's got these dainty ankles.
Yep. Yeah, another solution might be do it on Skype.
Oh yeah.
Stream the computer audio.
Okay. Does anybody? It sounds okay.
Yeah.
They can hear it.
Okay.
All right. Well, I'm gonna let you go so we get. I think there was one other person that wanted to call in, Calvin. Thanks for calling, dude.
Yeah.
It was great talking to you. And tell mom and dad we said hello.
I will.
All right, brother. Bye bye.
All right. Take care.
Look at that. I think that's the first official phone call ever on a YouTube TikTok simulcast. We're making history, boys and girls. All right, we got 5 more minutes. Cameron, if you wanted to call in, man, the line is open now.
Yeah,
Great live. Hey, we got fans now. I mean, we're almost like Rush Limbaugh or something.
Yeah, we're definitely chomping on the doors.
We're
of
count. Uh-oh.
We're chomping on the doors of like
A new thing.
yeah, like
We just reinvented.
I wouldn't be least surprised if Rogan doesn't call.
Ah!
Hey, you guys want to come on the show?
Long time wife. So yeah, my YouTube videos are horrible. I know that, guys. I do my best. I'm just not very good at it. But I appreciate you guys that do follow and watch the videos, even though it's super dark and I don't speak very well. I'm not very articulate. There's like 200 of you solid people, and I appreciate all of you. Cameron J, I'm not in. It doesn't matter if you're in. Do you think I'm interesting, Cameron? And we're just making this shit up as we go, boss. We're literally making it up as we go.
On the
4
fly.
minutes left.
This is the latest I've ever stayed here.
This is the latest I've ever stayed up. What?
He's slime. He's gonna go inside and probably raid the snack drawer.
Yeah.
We went to lunch, and I don't know what it is with Mike. His eyes always oversee his stomach. He orders an appetizer for
I'm
$6.
petite. I don't need a lot.
He orders an appetizer for $6, and then he orders a 3/4 pound hamburger with fries.
It was a Trump burger. It was huge. It was the best.
Huge.
The best burger. It was huge. Yeah, it was called a Trump burger. It made me kind of laugh, and it was big and very filling.
Oh. Yeah, we'll have to. I'll look for a mic because they have microphones that you can plug into your phone.
Yeah, we'll try to make it better. Maybe we'll try to do this every couple weeks or so. Anthony Daly is calling in. He could be the last caller of the night. Hello, Anthony. Uh-oh. Hold on. Stay with me. Stay there, Anthony. Don't speak just yet. We got to put you on the speaker. All right, you're on live. Don't say any bad words or anything. It'll get us banned from YouTube.
Yes, sir.
What's going on, Anthony?
Nothing, man. I'm watching the live event now. I just want to show my support. These guys are doing great.
Oh, well, thank you very much, man. Thanks for taking the time to call in.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
You got a car?
I do have a car. I'm actually working on a 1998 Dodge Ram. I'm doing an LS swap on a 6.0 that I have now. I have the Holly system, and I'm a religious watcher of you guys. You guys are awesome. You guys have motivated me beyond anything else. I've grabbed some of your products online, and I'd love to hear how you're doing on your Volvo and all of your projects, man. It's great to watch.
That's great. I mean, that's what I do for you guys. If you guys know that my dumb ass can do it, anybody can do it. It's 100% doable. I'll tell you what.
Man, the support you guys show and you getting up here doing what you're doing, man, I'm a veteran myself. I watch you guys do it. I'm in there, man. I'm watching. I love to watch. It's entertaining for me, man. It's great.
Yeah, obviously Matt's a big. I think Matt's on here, but Matt's
He
a
was.
big inspiration, I guess you'd say, for me, because he's just doing it, and he has a family, so it doesn't. Lucky for him, he's super smart. I'm not, so it makes it a little more difficult. But I know, like, Matt's out there doing it. He's got a kid, a wife, and I can go out in my garage and do the same thing. And he makes it easy. He'll put up those little tunes and stuff, and you get the cheat off of him.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with him, man. He's definitely he's got to figure it out.
How familiar with the Holly are you?
This is actually gonna be my first install, but I have a lot of support from the big community that I work with here. They're great.
Okay.
A lot of the guys have done a lot of Holly installs, and Holly puts out great information from the get up. On the information they provide as far as how to troubleshoot and everything else like that. So I don't ever feel like I'm just out there hanging in the wind,
Yeah, I'd like to do one of the so I have been the guy that has sat in the front seat of his car by himself in his garage crying because it just wouldn't work. And there has to be, and you've watched 327 YouTube videos, and none of them are exactly what you kind of need.
Exactly.
And it can be frustrating. So I'd like to do like a phone call, like a call-in show for people that have like Holly questions. I think that would be, again, Dunning-Kruger kind of effect. I don't know much at all, but I'm happy to share. I have suffered a lot, and the more you suffer, the more you kind of learn with the Holly, I believe.
You guys proved the point, man. You've done a bunch of installs, or at least the installs you've done have worked, and it seems like you're getting closer and closer, man. The drive is the big part of it.
Well, I think
the community is great.
Yeah, with everybody, and everything we do, the more you do it, the easier it gets.
There's a lot of stuff like thinking outside the box. Remember, we didn't have another 12 volt output for the AC.
Oh yeah, we need
So
to
we
switch
just
to
ended
positive, but all we had was switch to negative outs.
So we just used a ground trigger relay to kick the AC off. Just little stuff like that sometimes people it escapes them. They don't think about
I'll
it.
tell you what terrorized me was setting up the transmission. I don't know how that transmission is still working, but it is.
And I heard you mention your Turbo 400. I'm doing the same thing. So I'm in the process of, that's going to be my first attempt to rebuild that.
Take the wheel.
I've got some information on that. Same thing, trans brake and everything else. So it's one of those things that I'm taking a dive in, and I've listened to what you said on your part of it, and I'm going to take that wholeheartedly when I do mine.
That's why so my transmission builder guy, his name's Josh, he lives here in the Houston area. Josh Lurcher, shout out to you. I'm sorry I keep breaking your transmission. It's not your fault whatsoever. But he was like, hey Mike, how about you just let the Holly shift? So that's a good idea.
Well, keep us up to date on your project, man, and we'll update Facebook and all the social media platforms for the next time we do this, and try to have a more structured event that's definitely set up a little better.
Yeah, man. Thanks for being one of the brave souls to call in, Anthony.
Hey, man, I appreciate it, man. Thanks.
All right, have a good evening,
call,
sir.
man. You guys hang out, man.
All right, everybody. We are past our 8 o'clock time limit, and I plan on sleeping. So thank you all that dropped by and checked out the program. I hoped we were entertaining at least for you. And until next time, this is
Jacob,
and Mike with Monkey Fab. We're out.
take it easy.
Oh, you had